I never thought I'd be doing a real day in the life in Italy, but here we are. So I didn't think I'd ever get to Europe, but here we are. So today we are doing a real traveling day in the life with the Galaxy Z Fold 7. Now, this is the perfect opportunity to do this because we do need to navigate around Rome. I have been using the Interpreter app as well. So come along with us. I'm going to show you some pretty cool things in Rome. If you've never been here before, it is such a beautiful city. I feel very at home because I am of an Italian background. Let's see how this holds up. At the moment, it is 10:36 a.m. and we have 92% battery life. You're probably not going to be able to see it right now. And things I have been noticing this week with the phone, it is getting quite hot in this heat. Not surprising, given that the phone is so much more thin this year, but we'll see how long the battery lasts with a full day. So I do have the case on the back of the phone because I do rely on MagSafe in my car, but also the wobble on this phone without a case is a total joke. So I do just have one on the back, I don't have one on the front. So I've had my Galaxy Z Fold 7 for I think close to a month now. I did have the loan when I was doing the other pieces of content that had the blue. I do have the black now as my own, and yeah, it's already getting pretty scratched up in my bum bag, unfortunately. I've got a big scratch across the screen just from rubbing on stuff in my bag like my wallet. So girls, I recommend if you are putting this in a handbag with a bunch of other stuff, do put a screen protector on the front. We are staying quite close to Vatican City, which is really cool. So we do have a 19-minute walk to get to the Pantheon. And we should be able to see Castle San Angelo on the way. The best thing about this phone is having so much screen real estate for a map. Being able to open it up, 8-inch display, clear display, mind you. It's not quite sunny right now, but I can still see everything. It's so good. Hey Gemini, it is really humid in Rome today. Can you tell me what the weather is and what to expect for the rest of the day?
Sure thing. It's currently 27 degrees in Rome, but with the humidity, it feels more like 30. There's a chance of thunderstorms later today, so you might want to take an umbrella with you if you're going out.
Can you tell me roughly what time the thunderstorms are expected? Because I'm walking the city now and I don't have an umbrella.
According to the forecast, the thunderstorms could start as early as 11 a.m. and last until about 2 p.m. You might want to find a cafe or shop to wait it out.
Gemini, I can actually see that the sky is pretty grey. Should I expect them to come now?
You're right, the sky does look pretty grey. It's definitely possible those thunderstorms could roll in sooner rather than later. You might want to find some shelter just in case.
The sky on this side of town is definitely grey compared to this side of town. So because you can't see it through this lens, it's probably the best time to try out the camera here.
What I mean by that is that I can't zoom in with this lens, but across the road is Castle San Angelo. So I decided to capture a zoom photo on the phone, and well, it's okay, but it's so soft and a little blurry.
If we go video, this is probably where it's going to shine the most.
Video is a little better, but anything past 2x zoom becomes very soft and it loses a lot of texture and detail.
This is 3x zoom in video. Look at that. That is Vatican City, everybody. We went into St. Peter's Basilica the other day and it was absolutely beautiful.
Where I do give points to the phone is Galaxy AI and its generative edit with its magic eraser, because it does a fantastic job of removing people, recreating what would be behind them, and also making it look like it's real. Even with shadows, it identifies shadows that may be cast from objects or people and it removes them perfectly. In this example, the only fault is that the plate on the car doesn't have real letters or numbers, typical AI, but it did rebuild the actual shape of the car pretty well.
So the rain sort of arrived, hence the scarf, but we've made it to the first stop, which is the Pantheon. So we're gonna go inside, take a look. I will capture everything on the phone and insert that into the video. We'll see how it holds up.
So the Pantheon. It was actually a bit of a darker place, so the lighting conditions weren't the best to shoot in. We've really picked the most gloomy day of the week to film this video, but my thoughts are the same here. Zooming in with photos and videos creates a very soft object and takes away the detail of what you're shooting. I found zooming in to show more of a camera shake as well, not to mention the lens shifting is so prominent that it sort of ruins the appeal. It feels like the actual shift of the lens is delayed from when I press the button. It's passable, but I definitely think the S25 Ultra does a better job, although iPhone's camera really does beat all when you put it to the test like this.
The only thing I will continue to say is that this phone really struggles in the heat. Using it in a hot environment, I mean, there's a breeze right now, but the moment you whip the camera on for this, even maps, it just starts to heat so much. I actually haven't had a phone heat this much in quite a while. My S25 Ultra doesn't even do this, so I guess this is the downside of going thinner. You lose out on better cooling. Not surprising. However, it is an issue if you are looking at using a phone like this as your daily and you're traveling like I am. All right, Nonna Lynchie is in the town on the prowl. We're off to the Trevi Fountain, which is actually just around the corner here. And checking in, it is 12:27. The phone is on 67%, so it has dropped. And I wasn't really using it. So I don't know. I've kind of only really used it for maps and camera today. Maybe a little bit of social media, but anyway, check this out.
Welcome to the Trevi Fountain, everyone. This is the moment my phone really struggled. Look at this delay in lens shifts. That's a good 2 to 3 seconds delay from when I press the button to it actually changing. This was the point that I realized how much my phone was struggling. It was really hot to the touch. It fixed itself though, but it still didn't cool down for quite a while. Video here is a lot nicer though, given it is in daylight and it's in a slightly brighter environment, although there's not much sun, but compared to the Pantheon, because we were outside.
Oh my God, so hot and sweaty. It went from wanting to rain to being, what's the weather? Hey Gemini, what's the weather in Rome right now? Because it's gone from wanting to rain to being extremely hot.
Rome's having quite the mix today. Right now, it's about 27 degrees Celsius, but it feels more like 29. The humidity's sitting at 67% and the UV index is moderate.
So it's 1:59 p.m. and we are sitting on 54%. So things I've noticed, taking video and photo at the Trevi Fountain, I don't know what the heck was up with the zoom, but it was lagging like crazy and I've never actually experienced that before. So I'm wondering if it's got to do with the heat and the phone just not being able to handle itself in extreme heat. Very interesting, because usually it's fine. Usually I have a really good time using this phone and its camera, but today not so much. It really wants to put on the performance for this video. However, it still struggles in low light, as we can see. 54%, we have to be in Trastevere, which is a region or a district of Rome, for 6 p.m. So it's 2 p.m. now, we've got a couple of hours. I'm going to rest, I'm going to hydrate and do some work. So we'll check in with you later and give you the update of what my phone is sitting at once we're ready to go. Okay, we are refreshed. It is currently 5:08 p.m. Last time I saw you, we went back to the room, I did a little bit of work on this video and then fell asleep. My phone is sitting at 34%. It actually drained quite a bit while I was resting. I didn't really use it much other than transferring files off of my phone to my laptop. We'll see how much of this battery life will last tonight as we are on our way to a twilight food tour. So we just had probably about a 40-minute walk to get to our next location, and just taking some photos on the bridge just across the road from us now, and the phone had a cool down warning. So I have to report that the Galaxy Z Fold 7 does not do well in heat, and that's a problem. The Fold 7, you know, the trade-off is you go thin, you lose battery capacity and cooling as well. 26% at 6:01 p.m.
Here's a little bit of our food tour. I was in the socializing bubble and I didn't want to pull out my main camera and freak out the other tourists, but the phone got down to 9% during this night and I had to charge it to make sure I could get in an Uber and get back to my hotel safely.
So it is currently 10:34 p.m. We are on 27% because I had to charge it a little bit. And this is purely because we needed to get back to the hotel and I needed to access my phone. So my overall thoughts, I genuinely thought the Z Fold 7 would perform a little better with battery life, but I think you make a phone thinner, you have to sacrifice battery capacity. And in my lifestyle, my workflow, this phone is fine if I am at home. I think if I'm traveling and using it as my camera device too, it isn't the best option, and for that I think I would need to have a separate camera, like a digital camera or maybe something like a Fujifilm. But point being, this phone cannot do a full day without a power bank, without being charged, and it's a bit disappointing. For something that's nearly 3,000 Australian dollars, you would want it to be a little bit better, but this is a pretty intense workload experience and not everyone is doing what I did today. It does some good things with the camera in nice lighting in daylight, but the moment you reach low light, it does suffer a little bit. I think it is amazing for a hybrid of entertainment and general use and workflow stuff too because of the 8-inch screen. But at the end of the day, battery will drain very quickly. And if we look at the battery graph, I've had 5 hours and 7 minutes of screen on time today, which feels like a lot less. When you look at these numbers, it just doesn't make sense in my brain because it feels like it was on for a lot less. But it is telling me that Instagram was on for 53 minutes and it definitely doesn't feel like it was on for that long today. I genuinely thought that the camera was the most used, which was actually 17 minutes of screen on time. Google Maps as well, 15 minutes. I thought I used that a lot more. So when you actually look at these numbers, it's different to what you think it's going to be, but even still, I feel like 5 hours and 7 minutes is kind of low in comparison to other phones that I've used for screen on time. But nonetheless, this has been a real authentic look at a traveling day in the life with the Z Fold 7. I hope you've seen how realistic this phone is for my lifestyle, and hopefully it's better for yours. Be sure to hit the subscribe button because I'll catch you in the next video.